It's always a good day when I can sit here and say this isekai is actually good. So let me introduce you to Parallel World Pharmacy, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a pharmacy in another world. It has the basic isekai setup with some things that make it a little bit different from the average isekai, but basically you have this normal dude who works on medicine and he's pretty smart, but then he ends up working himself to death, and I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. He is reborn in another world as a 10-year-old noble by the name of, and get this, it's my favorite part, Falma de Médicis. Like, it doesn't get any funnier than that. But in this fantasy world, pharmacists are pretty powerful, and most of them have magical powers and all of that. Some of them don't, they're just normal, like, commoners who are pharmacists. But old Pharma, he does have magical powers, and these magical powers are pretty cool because yes, it can be used for combat, but like he can also just spawn elements, I guess, like gold and other things like that, and he can just make water out of his hands and stuff. It's really cool. But this fantasy world is kind of like in the medieval ages, I would say. So the medicines they use are like not the best, but our boy Pharma is from the modern world, so he just sprinkles some ibuprofen on him and starts curing all of these illnesses. I should also mention that he's like an overpowered main character, but not in the traditional ways. Yes, he does have godlike powers, but he's just really smart and instantly becomes the best pharmacist around. And that honestly wraps up my little summary of this anime. I honestly just really like it because it's an isekai, but not a sucky isekai. It's actually good. A little weird, yes, we can all agree it's kind of weird and it's a weird setup, but still really good. And it honestly reminds me of Dr. Stone, and I think that's a fair comparison. Two really smart MCs, both of which in worlds without modern amenities, and they both start making these modern amenities. And that's probably why I was so attracted to this anime, because I'm just a huge fan of Dr. Stone. Like, I can't simp over Dr. Stone enough. It's just a great anime, and I don't know if it's fair to call Dr. Stone an isekai, but I honestly consider it to be an isekai. But anyways, I'll say it for the millionth time. Parallel World Pharmacy is an isekai that doesn't suck ass, and to be honest, it checked all the boxes for me. There really isn't a harem, that's great. There basically isn't any fan service, that's even better, and it doesn't really fall into the usual tropes that comes with the isekai genre that would completely ruin it for me. And my biggest example is the beach episode, and yes, there is a beach episode because there's always a beach episode. To be honest, I was a little afraid. I was preparing for some stupid over-the-top fan service and just a really boring episode, but it wasn't. We got some wholesome moments, a little bit of Pharma's backstory from his previous life. Also, we got to see him demonstrate how strong his powers are. There basically wasn't any fan service. Good God, this had to be the best beach episode in anime, like, ever. Like, it was so great, because most beach episodes in anime are used for, well, fan service, and they just kind of do that, and it's more like comedic, I guess, and it's a break from the normal story. But in Parallel World Pharmacy, they used this beach episode to have some wholesomeness and also give some more backstory to Pharma in his previous life, and we also get to see how strong he actually is when he just kind of got rid of all that water in this certain section, and I'll put it up on screen, it's kind of hard to explain, but he got rid of all this water and it was insane, and it was kind of like, damn, he's a badass. And to go hand in hand with all of that, this anime is actually entertaining to watch. I would say this anime is a sleeper hit because it was just so incredibly unique, and it had for the most part a relaxed story, but the pacing was great, and the progression of the story kept me heavily invested throughout all 12 episodes. It was dope seeing my man Pharma going from the average noble to curing diseases, helping commoners, and even taking on the plague at one point. It's an insane watch. And it was really cool because, you know, I think Pharma became like one of my favorite main characters in anime because my man just kind of came into this new world and decided, hey, I'm gonna help commoners because the medicine in this world is way too expensive and I'm just gonna help everybody out. And that's what he did. He got himself a pharmacy and he started helping people. This resulted in a lot of wholesome moments, and I know I keep saying wholesome, but it really did because my man's just here to help, and that's really cool to see. And like I said previously, the story progresses beautifully. Like, he just goes from this normal dude or normal noble to like really embodying being a pharmacist, honestly saving the day multiple times, but not enough to where it's like, okay, overpowered MC saves the day for the 1 millionth time. It wasn't anything like that. It was just kind of normal stuff where he came in and he was like, hey, you're sick, I got some medicine for you, man. And honestly, it just had a lot of cool stuff going for it. It kept my attention, which is really hard nowadays because I can't really focus on anime like at all. But Parallel World Pharmacy did keep me captivated in the story and kept me interested throughout the entire 12 episodes. Like, it did not drag at all. It didn't feel boring. I never sat there once and said, man, I wish this was over. I wish this would just conclude. None of that. It kept me heavily invested. And I'm going to say it right now, Parallel World Pharmacy is one of my favorite isekais, and I highly, highly recommend giving it a watch. It's refreshing as all hell, and I promise it won't disappoint you in the slightest. It's a great watch. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Check the description for all my links, and more information on Parallel World Pharmacy will be down there as well. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.